Welcome back. As promised, here we go. We're into video number 2 of 4 reviews. So St. Louis and Winnipeg. Pretty big game for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. So looking back to 2019, the Winnipeg Jets were favored in that series against St. Louis. The Blues end up winning that one in 6. Home ice meant nothing. It appears that this time around home ice might mean a little bit more than it did then. So we had Binnington versus Hellebuck, and honestly, I don't even need to look up starting goaltenders for the playoffs. I love the playoffs because, I know who the starting goaltenders are going to be. You know who they're going to be, and it's fun. It just makes it more fun. So the hitting shows up first shift, and the hitting was pretty prominent. Although by the end of the game, the hitting had calmed down quite a bit, but early on there were some pretty big hits being thrown. There's a kick save on Fowler. Sandberg then has a rush chance that's saved. The Blues press at 2 minutes. Broberg has a screenshot that saved. The teams trade rushes. The shots are 4-2 for St. Louis at 3.5 minutes. And tonight's another example of the Blues played pretty well. They did. They played pretty well for large stretches of this game. We'll see how the series goes when it switches over to St. Louis. But there's a lot to build on here for the Blues. Good flow, few whistles. We get a power play for the Jets. Morrissey has a wrister that's held. The Jets cycle. There's a shorthanded rush by Nathan Walker. Blues forecheck during that shorthanded play as well. And so they kill that off with just the one shot allowed during that power play. Snuggerud fires one wide on a rush. He was really prominent early in this game too. I think Snuggerud is honestly going to be a pretty darn good forward for St. Louis for some time. Kyrou gets ended by Stanley. He takes a thunderous hit. The one thing with some of these hits, make sure you're not going to take a penalty on him. There was a penalty, I believe, on Stanley later on in the game, and I just feel like he just needs to make sure he's on the right side of that line and he's not taking penalties, because St. Louis's power play is pretty good, so you've got to watch that. So, Blues press with 8.5 minutes left. Parayko is a blast that's turned aside. Really good flow. I can't say enough good things about how this game was going at that point. The Jets go back to the power play. Little did they know they would not get a power play the rest of the game. They cycle. Morrissey fires one wide. Perfetti can't bury one in close. Morrissey fires wide again. Puck gets cleared out. There's a shorthanded rush by Parayko that basically ends that power play. We're still scoreless. Appleton's denied after it ends. And then at 16:32, Snuggerud's coming back, and he accidentally knocks the puck into his own net. So, it's Scheifele that's credited with the goal on a net drive, DeMello with the assist, so at 16:32 it becomes 1-0 in favor of the Winnipeg Jets. The Blues look to respond. Thomas steals one and fires wide from the slot, and then with 1:54 left, the Blues draw a power play. There's an early clear. Kyrou fires one wide. Puck's cleared out again. Neighbors can't bury one in close. Puck's cleared out. And then at 19:58, it is Snuggerud getting the power play goal. He scores from Buchnevich and Fowler. So that makes it 1-1 after the first period. And that's a deflating goal. That's in the closing seconds. Kind of takes the fans out of it a little bit, as then they're going to get their soda and hot dogs and popcorn in between periods. So, second period. Early press by the Blues. Kyrou has a one-timer that's saved. Morrissey then has a shot that's held. 3.5 minutes in. Shots are 2-1 for St. Louis. Scheifele collides with Binnington after Fowler pushed Scheifele in. So, can't really get mad at Scheifele there. Braden Shen has a rush that's defended. The Blues press at 5 minutes. Gustafsson can't bury one on a net drive. Jets are firing from all angles at this point in the game. Appleton's denied on a rush. Braden Shen has a net feed that's blocked. And the Jets are doing a good job of blocking pucks away from the front of the net. The Jets are known for that, and they were doing a pretty good job tonight against a Blues team that's been red hot coming into the playoffs. Shots are 5-3 Winnipeg at 9 minutes. Toropchenko has a net drive chance that's held. The Blues draw a power play. There's an early clear, and then it's cleared again. The Blues set up. They cycle. Brandon Tanev picks off a pass, clears it out. Power play's killed off, and the Jets clear it out again after the power play is finished. Blues press with 7 minutes left. Momentum was building for the Blues at this point in the game. They were getting opportunities and chances, and between Hellebuck and just some really solid defense, there wasn't really a whole lot there for them, but it is a tie game, right? Morrissey to Anderson Dolan near miss. Morrissey then has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared out. Neighbors beats out an icing, and that leads to a press by the St. Louis Blues. With 3:10 left, the Blues go back to the power play. There's an early clear. Puck's cleared again. The Blues set up. They cycle. Fowler has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared. Iafallo clear helps to end that power play. Kyrou then has a net drive chance that's blocked. It stays 1-1 after 2 periods of play. Third period, early on, good forechecking by the Jets, and it pays off. At 1:43, on a pass from behind the net, Kyle Connor scores to make it 2-1. Perfetti and Scheifele with the assists. For Cole Perfetti, that is his first career playoff point. Makes it 2-1. Blues then look to respond. The Jets press at 3.5 minutes. Pionk has a wrister that's held. Teams trade rushes. 5 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 for the Jets. They did not leave that window open for the St. Louis Blues after they got that lead. Lowry has a net drive chance that's held. We get some pushing there. Fowler has a screenshot that's held. Cam Fowler's all over my board tonight, isn't he? That's the funny thing is I write these notes while the play's going on. Well, the game, I have no idea how many times I might be writing somebody's name on the board until we're in this process here. Morrissey has a tip shot that's saved. We get a power play for the Blues. So the ref's told that he sucks. They cycle. The Blues can't get to the net. The Jets are blocking. Thomas has a shot that's saved. Puck's cleared out. The Jets kill that off. So maybe they think the referee sucks, but that penalty kill didn't. So that happened. Buchnevich shoots wide on a rush, and then a linesman exits. What is it with linesmen getting hurt in this playoffs? That's twice now. So you got to wait a little while for a replacement. Kyrou then has a net feed that's blocked. Shots are 7-4 for Winnipeg with 6.5 minutes left. Toropchenko has a rush chance that's blocked. Gustafsson had a wrister that was held. David Gustafsson had himself quite the third period there. Anderson Dolan runs out of room on a rush. I'm glad to see Jared Anderson Dolan back at the NHL level. Leddy has a shot that's tipped wide. The Jets ice it with 3:14 left, and this is that dance you get into. Blues press with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Blues call a timeout with 2:17 left. The goalie pull happens as well. And while the Blues had opportunities and they got close, they just could not get that tying goal. The Winnipeg Jets win this game 2-1. They go up 2-0, meaning that if the St. Louis Blues are going to win this series now, they have to win 4 out of 5. Obviously, they would want to win both games at home because since Winnipeg, held serve at home, now the Blues are going to be looking to do the same thing. But it's tough. Now the chess magnet's on the board because it's 3 goals, but it's not. It was more exciting than the normal chess match. Shots on net, 10-8 St. Louis in the first, 7 apiece in the second, 7-5 Winnipeg in the third. Both teams had 22 shots in this game. The power plays, St. Louis 1 for 4, meaning 5 on 5 they did not get a goal. Winnipeg probably going to hang their hats on that. The Jets went 0 for 2 on the power play. They're going to be looking to generate more power plays, I would think, as the series goes along. Their power play was pretty good this year, for anybody who doesn't know. The hits, 33-29 for Winnipeg. So not as much hitting as in the other games. I'm just looking at the other games. Yeah, the other games had more hits. Bennington saves 20 out of 22. So once again, Bennington has a good game. Does not come out with the victory. Hellebuck, 21 saves on 22 shots. I think it was important for Connor Hellebuck to put up a good stat line tonight. He did not have a great stat line in the first game. I didn't think he played badly, but tonight he gets that good stat line, and Winnipeg's up 2-0. So the narrative from last season where Colorado came out from Game 2 on, they just steamrolled the Jets. The Jets have headed that off in Game 2 tonight. And now going into St. Louis, the key thing is, and I know it's not a must-win, if Winnipeg can win Game 3 in St. Louis, essentially the series is basically over at that point. If St. Louis wins Game 3, it's not over. So we'll see how Game 3 goes. But let me know your thoughts regarding this game tonight. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I really enjoyed watching these games tonight. A lot of fun. And if people are wondering how I watched both, I had one game on the TV and I have a tablet that's next to me, so I had the game on the tablet. And then at one point there were 3 games rolling, so the computer that I used to record these videos, I had to use that for one of the games as well. So I had 3 screens going at the same time for a little bit there. And we'll talk about that third game once this video's finished, which it is. Thanks for all your support. I will talk to you again very soon.